Minasan, konnichiwa, Regan desu. Hey everyone, Regan here. Today I'm going to be discussing, can vegans and vegetarians live in Japan? Short answer, yes, of course you can, but it might be a little bit different or a little bit harder than your own country, and especially if you don't speak Japanese, it can throw a spanner in the mix. Okay, so this topic popped up last week on Victor's channel, Give Me a Flake Man. We mentioned that I was on a plant-based diet, and we've had a lot of people message through or leave comments asking different questions about being vegetarian and vegan in Japan, so I'm going to hopefully answer as many of those as I can today. Okay, number one, how do you explain that you're on a plant-based diet or vegan or vegetarian, and how do the Japanese respond? I've never had a problem telling a Japanese person I'm on a completely plant-based diet. So it's actually probably easier to explain here than it is in a Western country, or you definitely get less heat for it. I've lived with a host family, and I've lived on my own, and I've gone out to dinner with a variety of Japanese people, and it's never been an issue. The Japanese are very hospitable, so they'll look after you as best they can. So if you tell them your specific dietary requirement, they will, from my experience, do their best to look after you as best they can. The only real thing that I've come across is that you have to explain it to them all the time. So they don't really, especially on a fully plant-based diet, it doesn't exist here, so they're not really aware of what you do or don't eat. 牛乳と卵と肉と魚を食べない. And that's pretty much what I say every time. And it's usually responded to by, 本当に? どうして? And this is where I bend the truth a little bit. Around the time I started my plant-based diet, I had a bit of a health problem. And so, although it wasn't the key factor for doing the plant-based diet, it is easy to use as an explanatory tool. So if you just want to make it easy for yourself, just tell them it's to do with your health. And that for me is the truth, it's for my health. And they'll completely understand that. If you are doing it for religious reasons, or if you're doing it purely for the animal perspective, they might have a more difficult time of understanding it, but I don't think it would change the fact of them wanting to help you eat the foods that you want. Number two, how do you survive on a plant-based vegan or vegetarian diet in Japan? Not without help. Last year when I first came over, I was living in Saitama with my host family, and I didn't have a problem. I spoke no Japanese, little to no Japanese. I had trouble saying, this is my breakfast. But when it came to shopping and going out and eating, when I was with my host family, they were able to check everything for me anyway. And probably within the first month, I learnt the main vocabulary that I needed to know, which I mentioned before, which was eggs, milk, meat, and fish as well. I specify between fish and meat, just in case they don't. Another question I got was ingredients. How do I read them? I can't read Japanese. So, but it's been a problem for me probably once or twice. So I haven't done this flawlessly. There's probably been 2 or 3 cases where I've eaten something with a fish sauce in it without knowing. So soy sauce has been the big thing, or foods that they cook. If I'm eating at a restaurant or something like that, they might have something cooked in fish sauce. Or when I've gone to the supermarket by myself, I've bought the wrong sauce and it's ended up having fish in it. But there's a few ways you can avoid that. First of all, you can look at the ingredients and type them into a translator if you go through one by one, but that would take a long time. You could do what I sometimes do and just take a photo of the ingredients on the back and send it to a Japanese friend and get them to translate it for you. Or thirdly, the best thing I've found I've done is just don't eat processed food. I don't really like to eat processed food anyway. I try to go organic wherever I can. And I might actually make a separate video on the organic food, but I usually try to eat whole foods as much as I can. And if you're happy to do this, then it's the easiest way to avoid mixing up ingredients or mistaking ingredients. So having said that, if you are on a plant-based diet and you still want to eat junk food or processed food, then there's plenty out there like senbei and different, I don't know, biscuit. I don't have a clue. I haven't even been down those aisles in the supermarket, but you can get I don't know, I'm sure you can get biscuits and things like that. Daifku. Daifku is one that I eat. That's a processed food that I've eaten, which is really sugary. It's awful. You can eat processed foods but just read the labels. I can't list everything that's on the labels. Obviously, it doesn't just say fish. It could be any of a whole amount of fish. So the best way to do it is to brush up on your vocabulary. Number 3, going out for dinner. And this is probably where you'll run into most of your trouble. If you're a very social person, if you're wanting to be going out for dinner a lot, then it's going to be tricky because the Japanese aren't really aware of a plant-based diet. Vegetarian, you're probably going to be fine. There's plenty of vegetarian options. When you're going out, though, there's less vegan or plant-based options. So, to be honest, I don't really go out for dinner that much. I prefer all my meals, I would usually prepare myself. I don't actually go out that much to eat. If you're doing that, you're on your own. I can't help you. No, just kidding. I've been out to izakayas with my work and families and friends, and look, I eat beforehand just in case, and when I go there, I'll ask whoever I'm with to help me with the menu to see if there is something there that's completely plant-based, and if not, then I've usually eaten beforehand, so it's not a problem. The big issue is they feel bad that I'm not eating anything, or if I'm only eating the mamago, the green beans in Japan, then they feel bad. They feel as if I'm not being looked after or something like that. So one of the biggest things is I feel bad that they feel bad that I'm not eating. So I try to enforce as much as I can not to worry about what I eat, because, you know, I don't care. If there's nothing on the menu, it doesn't bother me, but it may make them feel like they're not being hospitable. So be aware of that one. Okay, I hope that's given a bit of perspective on being vegan or vegetarian in Japan and some things to look out for. I've also got another question, or a fair few people have emailed me saying, what do I eat? And I'll make a separate video on this. I don't want this video to go too long. So the next one, I'll go out to the supermarket and pick up some foods that I usually buy and some of the options that are there. If you have any questions or things that you want me to look into for next video, so going out and what you can buy and where to get it, let me know in the comments below and I'll try and work on getting through those. As well as if you are interested in me making a video about organic food in Japan, let me know and I'll work on one of those as well. Otherwise, Mira, another YouTuber, has got a video which I'll put the link down below. She did a video on organic food just a couple of weeks ago. So if you haven't seen that, you can click on the link below to check that one out as well. Otherwise, arigato. Ja, matte ne.